Hello and welcome back to the Cornhusker Cooldown. My name is Patio, and as always, we have mojojoe with us, and Jerry, bewareofspace, the Joe Mifford Varsity. How's it going?
It's going good. Having a good time.
So obviously we had a bye week this week for CCL.
Yes, we.
But because we have a guest, let's just let people get to know you a little bit. So I guess, where are you? What year are you? What do you major in?
Oh yeah, I am kind of a little bit like towards the end of my senior year. I'm a little bit extra, semester extra, and I am majoring in supply chain management.
And how did you get into Nebraska esports?
I hit platinum the summer before, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can get onto a JV team. And so I decided to try to look for a esports kind of program here in Nebraska, and I randomly found it involved you. I found the League of Legends old Discord, and that directed me to the new Discord server. So
you said the semester before. Was that like sophomore year?
Oh yeah. My freshman year. So I hit platinum, and then I decided that, you know what, maybe I can make it. I can remember that platinum game too.
What were you? Were you a jungler then as well?
Yeah, I was a jungler then. I was flopping around a lot more though. I would spend like 3 weeks on the jungle. Then I would switch to like a support, ADC, all that kind of roles. I would just have fun.
Nice. And what do you primarily play now?
I play jungle.
No, champions.
Right now I've been playing a lot of Scarlet, Jarvan, Nico, and whatever that fourth champion is I forgot about. But those kind of champions. Playmakers, yeah.
Playmakers, nice. And what's kind of drawn you into competitive?
Just Nocturne. Oh, Nocturne. There you go. I forgot. I don't remember the champions I'm playing. What drawn me into competitive was just like, I don't know. It's just like a lot of like just like kind of like a drive. It's fun. Get to hang out with people, a similar game, and I'm a competitive person. I like to be the best at something. So.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. So, you've been here at Nebraska Esports for almost 4 years. Or is this your fourth year now?
Yeah, this is getting into the fourth year, right? Because I joined the same time you did.
So you've had quite a few experiences here. What's some of your favorite memories that come to mind?
Some of my favorite memories. I mean, obviously, like old Huskers Black with me, you, Joe. You guys don't know him. The coach Carl, he was also part of it, and then other top laner Jake. That was playing with you guys. Some of the core memories here in Nebraska. Then also winning CCL with the old varsity team. That was a lot of fun. So those are my favorite memories from Nebraska.
Awesome. And so you've had a great time here. What are your plans for like after this semester is done? Because I believe you're graduating, right?
Yeah, I'm graduating. I'm hopefully I can become a role coach for jungle. Try to do some more things with that, get a higher rank, and maybe probably just join another team on my off time, because I do want to still play league competitively later. This is something I really do enjoy and like to spend my time on. So
awesome. Well, this week you don't have any competitive games.
Yeah,
as we are in a bye week.
Yeah, for CCL.
For CCL.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a bye week for CCL. We can go over the rest of it. So NDSU played USD. NDSU pretty much stomped it both games. SGSMT played Arcasana. Similar story, 2-0 SGSMT. Then ISU played DSU, which was, we thought the match to watch, but DSU griefed both games so many times.
They're frauds. If you saw that game, everyone would say they're frauds. I mean, that is just a horrific game to watch.
And I think it actually like lowered my opinion of both teams, maybe.
Yeah. That game one was so flip-floppy. You would think like, okay, Twitch gets like a triple kill here. DSU is so winning, and then immediately they just troll in a random play on the other side of the map, and then it's literally a back and forth every 5 minutes.
I mean, yeah, it was just like DSU obviously was griefing a lot, but then it also felt like ISU is not winning because they're making the right or good plays. It's because DSU is griefing.
Right.
So it's not inspiring when you watch a team win because the only reason why they're winning is because the other team's just messing up over and over again.
Right. I've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I've seen that
A few times.
a couple of times, specifically against ISU. There's definitely but yeah, I definitely not to be expected. Though last week both of us guessed ISU to win that series. You said 2-1. I said 2-0. So
I guess you're right.
I guess I'm right. Not how I was expecting it to go. But yeah, it was a 2-0. And I don't think that changes my opinions of any of the teams. I don't know about you.
So I didn't move anyone in my power rankings. I saw UNL first, ISU second over NDSU.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any differing opinions,
That makes sense. Yeah.
but overall, it just felt like I do feel a little bit worse about ISU now. So that's how I would say NDSU third, DSU fourth, which I did. I thought about moving them below SCSMT because that was pretty abysmal, if I'm honest, because it's not like a single issue that they have with,
Right.
right? It's not, you just have to draft a little bit differently or better, or it's not like, you don't, maybe your top lane is just constantly inting, and that's what you lose in the game. It's all 5 players doing bad plays, essentially.
Right.
That's making it hard to win the game, so.
Yeah.
But then, STSMT fifth, so, I mean, they didn't have any, they talked on us, so it's hard to say that I should move them based on winning that game. And then obviously, Augustana sixth and USD seventh, so.
Augustana. It's cool. Shit. So yeah, power rankings still the exact same. And I guess that brings us into next week for CCL, which is going to also be, I think this one's also going to be a really good week in general.
Yes. For us, it's what should be an easy matchup versus Augustana.
Yep.
We're cooking drafts.
So I'm saying Karthus and Kindred. That's what I'm.
I don't know. Have you seen my my Karthus draft?
No.
Okay, you're gonna like the 1-2.
Okay.
1-2's cooking, all right.
Okay. Okay. Is this blue side 1-2? Wait,
No,
like
it's the
red side 1-2. This is gonna be Karthus.
No.
No. Karthus is
cooking.
okay.
They are crazy cooking.
This is insider information that I don't know about.
You're not gonna know about it.
No.
You're gonna cast series.
I get
your
to-
reaction to it.
You. Oh gosh, that is. Well, I'll. What in the world are you gonna?
But all right, let's go to the more interesting games. USD doesn't have a bye, we'll say that, but NDSU plays ISU, second versus third. Gonna be interesting. We're gonna see who's essentially gonna get the bye for the second seed for the playoffs. So
Yeah,
quite an important match.
definitely super important, especially because we just had a very shaky match from ISU. NDSU not having, after they just faced against USD, we want to see them face off against another good opponent,
Top dog.
another opponent that's like on their level. And this match is going to basically, I think one of the two teams should cement themselves in second place.
Yeah. I will say my prediction is ISU 2-1 right now. I think NDSU they played well bot lane, but I'm unsure about the rest of their team and their drafting. To be fair, ISU's drafting is like this, but their drafting is very obvious, very one-dimensional, and doesn't always fit together. They're picking champions because they're comfortable in it. So
I gotta disagree with you a little bit. I think it's gonna be a 2-1 from NDSU. I think NDSU is gonna win that. I think ISU has a lot more exploitable mistakes. I mean, we lost both game twos to them, but I mean, I'm just gonna say it. You just get rid of like that bot lane and a Seraphine, and their bot lane just crumbles. I feel like,
or NDSU
or ISU.
ISU's the Philios one trick though.
Yeah, but that's perma gonna be abandoned too.
You get rid of Phelios and
Philios,
Seraphine and all, but then
I presume Zillion.
Yeah. Just get rid of their bot lane's play potential, and like that team really falls apart. Like
I felt like their AD carry off of honestly on any pick that I've seen him hasn't been very impressive. So
right.
Yeah.
I assume he's a lot better on the Philios, but
I also have ISU on a 2-1, mainly just because my opinion hasn't changed that much, and I do think that ISU is slightly better, though I think I could definitely see it swing either way. And with how they're playing, I think it's either going to be a 2-1 for ISU or a 2-0 for NDSU. I think is the two potentials that I see.
And then next game, DSU versus SDSMT, another top 5 matchup. I'm calling it the Clown Fiesta because both teams will grief over and over again. I'm expecting at least 2 games to go over 40 minutes long.
Okay.
Battle of mediocres. That's what I say. I'm gonna say DSU though. I think DSU can pull it off. SDSMT has not shown it for me. I like DSU a lot more.
I have SDSMT 2-1. I think DSU will completely grief one of their drafts and make it unwinnable.
So I have DSU winning 2-0 because I think it's that third game is when they would have griefed the draft.
Kind of griefed all of their drafts.
Well, that's
They had not had a great draft yet.
I still want to put some respect on what this team has done before. And while they haven't necessarily shown it, as you get later in the season, I think teams do start to ramp up a little bit. And I respect what DSU has done in the past. I feel like it's always SDSMT are these underdogs for the entire season and they're not able to actually make it over that hump. And now that we have 5 teams that are contesting for that top 4 slot, I'd be very shocked if DSU don't put in the extra time and extra work to make that happen.
Oh yeah. My main issue is like when I watch DSU, it's consistently so many different parts of the game they're making mistakes in. And I'm very afraid that they're just gonna int 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
I already talked about the drafting. So like I don't like their drafting. They Nocturne B1, I believe, right? Or is Oriana B1?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, but
Either way, you're playing AP Twitch as well. They really put prio on like Seta Swain ball lane a lot.
They do.
I
definitely don't like the Swain. I think that's I think it's because it's Momo, right?
Yeah.
I just don't want to see him on Swain. I think he's so much better at most of the other champions that he plays.
Like specifically for DSU, when you have your best player as your AD carry, usually you don't want to see him on like AP Twitch.
Right.
Or maybe a Swain or even a Ziggs, perhaps.
I want to.
Especially when they're AD carry, you want them on more hyper carry, Kaisa, Zeri, Jinx type of things that have more agency almost by themselves.
Absolutely. I think that's how they've done better in the past as well.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely agree with you on that. That's for sure.
Yeah. But that should be it for CCL. We do have CLOL now, though. 2 games on this Saturday. On the 19th or 18th?
It's the 19th.
The 19th.
The 19th. That's the day.
But on the 19th at 2 p.m., we play against Michigan State's varsity team. Currently, they are technically the highest-ranked team in our group. However, to be honest, CLOL kind of messed up their seeding stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, you want to get is that because of our next game? Is that what you're?
Oh, so, they do it by average rank, which is fine.
Average rank of the top 5.
Average rank for the top 5 players, and then, because they took it on essentially like Monday, Tuesday of this week, this is about a week and a half, 2 weeks from the split reset, right?
Yes.
2-ish weeks. A lot of players aren't at their rank or haven't even played ranked. So our second game against Toronto Metropolitan, they have a Grandmaster player. He was Grandmaster last split. However, he's unranked this split. So he counts as 0 points, which drags their average down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially what they should have done is taken averages from
the last split.
Your last split, where you ended last split.
Right.
I don't know how, like, if there's technical difficulties between Riot and CLO or whatever for that. It's just bad timing, and it's going to throw off not only the tier 2, but it's going to really throw off tier 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a team with 5 unranked player that's, master average or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to win, though.
Yeah, they're gonna smash because there's a bunch of platinum players in there as well.
It did feel like CLAW was super delayed. Like, I feel like all the communication around CLAW was quite slow this year. I feel like typically we hear, I mean, this was definitely a later start than what we typically have.
A month later than
Yeah. And I feel like usually there's also like they talk about it quite a ways ahead of time. This time it was
yeah, they announced it, and then like a week later registration opened, and a week later closed.
yeah, it was very fast turnaround. Not sure what is up with that, but I'm very glad it is happening.
Yes, in days we play it.
Yeah.
Schedule a little brutal. So we'll talk about first game now. Michigan State at Saturday at 2 p.m. They're technically the highest ranked team in our group, but they are pretty comparable in rank to us, I'd say. It's essentially 4 diamond players and a master player.
Yeah, nothing to worry about, honestly. Well, I've seen master player. I've been playing with those guys. They're not anything special. I mean,
they're not so much better than diamond players.
They are not realistic. Like, even master players, there's a bit of a difference. Like, there is a bit of a difference, but like in like competitive setting, especially with like a lot of our experiences, I think we could do fine. I'm more worried about that team.
Yes. So their second match is again Saturday the 19th at 5 p.m. on 2 best of 3s in a row. It's a bit rough.
Brutal.
So Toronto Metropolitan, they're technically the lowest ranked team in our group. However, they probably have the highest average rank from last split in our group. So it's going to be very, very tough, very rough.
Yeah.
I assume we're playing against 4 master players and a grandmaster.
Yep, that is terrifying.
Interesting.
It'll definitely be super challenging.
Yeah, it's we could probably win a game if we play well, or they have messed up, because we've had past experiences on both teams and teams outside of UNL where we've beaten teams that are 300, 400 LP higher average than us, but we still stood a chance.
Right.
But it's going to be tough just because at the end of the day, it's hard to win those games when you're probably outhanded most of the time. So.
Yeah. Got to get creative. Got to have some good drafts.
And then I'll say most teams have a CCL game on Sunday at 2 p.m. We have our quote-unquote bye game. So
yeah, I believe, aren't there 5 teams in our group? And we'll have 4 games.
Yes, so there's 5 teams in our group. They're supposed to be in and out. There's one of the things is a bye. So
right,
Michigan State, Toronto, and then it's Cornell and University of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. Those will happen next week.
Those happen in the future.
Yeah, we'll talk about those in the future. But
that's done with varsity. We can go to JV.
Hop on down to JV, where we had a pretty good week for Huskers Scarlet, 2-0 against the Big Bongo boys, and are now tied for first place. I thought it was a pretty decent showing. I know you were actually casting those games. Yeah. What was your first impression on those games?
Like, okay, like game 1 is you could tell we were having fun. We were doing some little bit of troll plays. To be fair, they were pretty troll too. I mean, I didn't like the Kled pick at all from Big Bongo Boys. If you saw his build, I know you talked about it before, where it's hubris is technically the thing you go here, but I feel like in a competitive setting, it's kind of impossible to get ahead when you're like if they're not putting any resources into that Kled anyways. It's kind of impossible to make that worth it.
To be fair, I would not pick Kled.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would. Oh well, to be fair, there is someone who did. Someone would.
Someone who would.
But yeah, I mean, in a game game 1 was a clean game, and game 2 was an absolute stomp.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, we gotta be a little bit more careful about like choosing our fights and everything. We don't want to just dive them when they have everything up, no matter how worth that is.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's something that this team had. I think one of their struggles is typically how they choose their fights. I think that's something that that's been a constant improvement battle with them. And I think one thing that I loved about this series was I think they had one of their best fight looks that they've had all season was in this game. It was in game 1, whenever Long Bart gets the flank over Dragon Pit, and then they all collapse at the same time right as the cage goes down. Nocturne is flying it. Like, I thought it was really clean. It showcased a really large improvement on their communication, which you really like to see, especially as the season goes on, and they're now 3-1.
Yeah, tied for first.
So yeah, and Gold Card Enjoyer, absolute menace.
very well in game 2.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, he did also very well on the Huey. He was
perma making that guy have a horrific time.
Yeah. And he would just walk bot and kill the ADC and then walk to it. Like he was just kind of, he was a menace on the Rift. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Huskers Scarlet on a bye week this week.
Yes.
I will say, looking forward a little bit, they play White Lotus, who is tied for first in the group. So it's going to be, whoever wins that's probably going to be first place in the group at the end of the season. So
that's an important spot whenever you get, because right after this is right into playoffs.
Right into playoffs, and play the 4th seed from the other group, which will be a massive advantage.
Yeah, and I do, my humble opinion as we start moving over to Black is that their group is a little bit harder.
I would agree with it.
I think the Huskers Black group is quite difficult. They had another 0-2 week this week against Ronduit Resports Roast, and it was a good eye opener for a couple of different things.
Took 3 O2s or 4 O2s?
This is now through. Well, I mean, my eyes have been open. No, they've been just on certain aspects of the game that we need to be improving on. But that first game, we had some issues that I think we can pretty easily work out. We're just skipping a lot of steps, and I think even though we were so far behind, somehow Huskers Black always finds a way to like win like a late game team fight when they're down like 7K gold. Every single game they figure out, and then they except
for they don't win the game,
they lose. That's the difference there. But they that gives me confidence that if we can iron out some of those mistakes, they will be able to carry that over into the win and not just like kind of fumble the end of the game. So definitely working on kind of doing like a mental reset as we go into next week, which is against Elysium Calypso, which is a pretty solid team. They are 2-1 right now. RRR did take one game off of Elysium Calypso though, so definitely we have some hope going into that game. They've had a pretty difficult schedule so far, so I would expect if the first seed in our group were to have to swap schedules with Elysium, I would figure Elysium would be the undefeated ones, and this one would have a pretty similar game score, but should be it'll be interesting. We're making some adjustments. We're learning some new champions. We're getting boots to the ground running. So, you guys have any?
I would say for Black, like what specifically are you focused on for improvements?
Basically, our job. What is our job at any given point in the game? Making sure that we are actually communicating what is the goal that we're going for. Because if we don't know what we're supposed to be doing, we're going to be doing the wrong thing. So we need to stop playing solo queue in our competitive games.
Are we improving drafts?
I think I have been improving drafts. Okay,
Sounds like a demand.
I think I did some. I've been improving a lot in my personal drafts.
Yeah, there's definitely champion pool issues, so I'm not gonna blame you so long.
Right. No, I mean, but I'm still learning. I'm learning that I still don't ban Braum enough. That's what I keep being. I should have banned Braum game 1. That is on me. But I think it's been improving, and I think it is helping the team quite a bit. I was able to actually get some prep work ahead of time and like kind of predict certain matchups, and we were able to work on stuff. So if we can do that again versus Elysium, I can expect that they'll still be prepared going into that series.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for JV. I think that brings us to what happened last week.
Yes, last week at Worlds. Swiss stage.
Oh my gosh, it's over.
Make it a little shorter this time as opposed to last time. But basically, top 8 teams: Gen G, LNG, Top Esports, T1, Honda Life, Weibo, FlyQuest, and BLG. I will first comment on Gen G. They looked pretty convincing, and I mean, they went 3-0 and they had a difficult schedule. They played against Hanwha Life, played against Top Esports, and they played against Weibo, which, I mean,
That's a pretty solid schedule.
yeah, three pretty good teams, and they went 3-0 anyway.
Yeah. And all those teams made it out as well. So
The teams made it out. As of right now, they should be the favorites. I think Hanwha Life can still beat them. As of right now, I think it's a two. To be fair, it's a 3-horse race, but we'll get to the other team a little bit later. We want to talk about a different team. Jerry?
Oh, I mean, I'm glad to bring up FlyQuest. I think I personally, even though I have Gen G as the winner of like Worlds and we go undefeated, I still put FlyQuest in my pick'ems to beat Gen G just for fun. I have to represent my NA. I love Blippo, even though he's an import. I love Inspired. Import. But again, with American spirit, you're if you're here, you're American. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
So you entered your pick'ems away for
Yes, of course, not pride. We're in North America. Also, I would choose, and if honest to God, I would choose any Asian/NA team over EU, and I'm so happy EU is gone.
Yeah, they did not make it out.
Yeah.
That was kind of surprising, honestly.
A little bit. I would say overall they were looked weaker this year, so I'm not like super surprised maybe that like a FlyQuest or a Teal made it out over them, but no, it's just disappointing to see from G2, I'd say. So
They just got no competition.
yeah, there's team you want to talk about. Team that barely made it out.
Somehow, BLG has me sweating. They are ruining my pick'ems, or ruining my pick'ems confidence. Technically, I put them as being an undefeated team going out for my pick'ems. Boy, they scared me. But they're still in it. Though they have a difficult path ahead of them.
Yes.
They have to be Hanwha.
Hanwha Life.
It's gonna be hard, and the way they looked, it makes me probably not gonna happen. I'm not sure what changed up for BLG because of. I'm not sure. They just like seem so shaky from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. It's felt like Bin's been the only real player that's consistently carrying games, I'd say.
Yeah.
Despite them having Knight and Wei, they've had this jungle issue where they've had Wei and June in for now. So it's just been head scratching for now. We'll see if they can improve their form into quarterfinals.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him only for my pick'ems.
That's crazy.
One more team I want to talk about for the teams made it out. LNG, I'm your LNG believer. I had them making it out. I had them being undefeated last year, by the way, even though they had a worse roster.
Wait, you're a Hanwha Life
So I'm a
believer.
I'm a Hanwha Life super fan and I'm an LNG believer.
And a Gen G predictor? Like you can't root for every
I
team.
have Hanwha Life as my world one. Though I had Gen G winning, I think in best of 1, best of 3, Gen G is probably the best team in the world easily. But in a best of 5, they can have some issues, I would say, especially against specific teams.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't think BLG is going to be one of those teams. So, but yeah, back to LNG, 3-0. I am not as surprised as some people are for LNG. Looking at the roster, they have really good players. They have Scout and Gala, ridiculously good players. And I've been a believer for quite some time now. They made it through Gauntlet LPL, which is, I think, why people doubted them for a little bit. But as of right now, I have them as my third team to win Worlds after Hanwha Life and Gen G. So,
Yeah, I mean, they had a really good showing, 3-0.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue against that. Beating some pretty good teams. So,
yeah, I mean, is there any other team you want to mention?
I mean, Top Esports. I think they looked pretty good.
Yeah, they didn't int any games as far as I remember.
And I think that's usually their biggest criticism against them.
Yeah, Dracula will just have 10 deaths sometimes.
Yeah, but not right now. I remember I had kind of originally put them as a dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely excited to see them actually doing well.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. All right. So teams that did not make it out. We'll go. So Pain, Mad, Game Esports, Fnatic, PSG, Damwon, TL, and G2. I think there's only really there's two, maybe three teams we want to talk about. We can start with his favorite team.
Mm-hmm. I am in pain, and I am mad that TL did not make it out. Oh, it was so sad. They had all my hopes up until they started playing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just like changed all my expectations for the team.
It was really rough for them.
Yeah,
There was never really a single game that they looked super impressive in. They had some like decent showing against LPO teams, but
yeah.
like they weren't able to win those games. And when they went against minor regions, they were still struggling. So
They were. It's funny. I think their best showings, besides against GAM, I think had their best games in the entire bracket. I think after that, it was like games versus LNG. I think they had a couple of super terrible moments. But besides those like crucial plays, they looked really good. They were playing their game, and I think maybe just because of I don't know if it was nerves or something, all of a sudden, like something happened, and all of a sudden,
the team just broke. I felt like.
Yeah, this does feel different than what happened last year, though.
Yeah,
as being a TL fan, it was much worse last year, where all of a sudden it felt like we just couldn't do anything the entirety of the rest of the split after that T1 game. This time, it felt like we were almost there, basically the entire time.
Yeah, I would say, so G2 put out their scrim results today, and you can see at the beginning of the tournament, TL was like 9-1 versus G2. At the end of the tournament, they were like 0-12 or something for the last two scrims they played against. So there's definitely something that happened for TL that broke them, essentially.
Yeah, it's probably just a Yone pick.
Maybe. I think after the Weibo game specifically, they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or didn't want to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think they wanted to do stuff. I think they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But
another team you want to talk about specifically, it's G2.
Yeah. I mean, unlucky? I don't know. That was a rough draw.
Yeah. It is what it is, though.
Yeah. You got to beat people. You got to beat them to get out. But I was actually... It's always funny how much on another level that G2 is compared to the rest of Europe. Every single year. Especially this year. It was just every single time G2 is rivaling.
They're winning.
Yeah, they're winning.
Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how like they can have int regular seasons. They'll just win the split anyway, and then they'll get first seed and then do the best out of Europe at Worlds or MSI or whatever.
Yeah.
Consistently for what felt like 5 years now or something.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny how consistently above the rest of Europe is, because it feels like you put like G2 on the tier like with maybe like the first in NA, and then you put most of NA and then most of Europe is how I kind of picture it.
And then I see people trying to say like G2 can be on like Weibo or Damwon's even level if they play well. So
I think that's super fair.
I think it's fair. I don't think they have been playing super well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's crazy how Europe has been past 2 years now, where it's just one team and then everyone else is kind of griefing, which makes that one team kind of worse, which is we probably felt this year. So
yeah.
I'll actually comment on that. I was actually watching a lot of videos recently about it, because I was really actually wondering why G2 is like this, and apparently it's just like when EU teams go against G2, they have this mentality that they're gonna lose already. Like they're letting G2 get away with these grief plays, and they just becomes habit, and then they pull stuff like this on the world stage, and then they get punished for it compared to other regions. So
yeah,
it's
definitely kind of disappointing to say the least, but NA better than EU?
NA better than EU.
Of course.
Took China out of the world. Mad had a very poor showing, but they technically did better than 100 Thieves. So
you got to remind me about 100. Okay, question for you guys. Do you think C9 would have made it out of plans?
I actually think yes, in the weird way that's like C9 would have just done better in lanes or whatever, like as individual players, and they would have just gotten advantage just that way. I think when they get the main stage, though, they would have gotten probably beaten worse than 100 Thieves would on a main stage because their teamwork and their macro's just been atrocious in the summer split. So yeah,
That's right.
That makes sense.
Yep. Anyone else have anything regarding Worlds? Obviously, quarterfinals is happening right now.
technically right now as this is releasing, so we won't comment on them.
Not sure how BLG won, but somehow they
No, they didn't. I don't know who's plays on Friday at it,
I don't know.
but I had nothing else.
I'm all good.
All right. Well, I guess that is all we have. The next thing that we have is potentially a stream for varsity for CCL. That'll be at 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And if all else fails, just check the Discord for any announcements. And then right after that, we have at 6 o'clock, Huskers Black is playing, and then and they'll be streamed on the Risen Esports Twitch, twitch.tv/Risen_esports. And then Varsity is playing Augustana on Monday, 8 o'clock, twitch.tv/Nebraska Esports. Should be a good time.
Should be. Watch the cook. We're cooking.
We're cooking. So thank you for staying tuned to Cornhusker Cooldown. Thank you so much for joining us, Jerry. And we hope to see y'all next time.
Sure.